The glowing numbers on the kitchen microwave say 3 in the morning. The house is completely quiet, save for the low, rhythmic hum of the refrigerator. You are sitting at the island, the marble counter cold beneath your forearms. In your hands, the phone is a small, heavy brick of light. You are looking at the bank app again. You do not want to look, but your thumb moved there on its own, a muscle memory born of a quiet, creeping anxiety that you cannot name during the day. The numbers on the screen are fine, objectively. You are not starving. You are not facing eviction. But there is a cold weight settling in your stomach because you realize how much it costs just to stay right here. Just to keep the wheels turning, just to remain the person everyone thinks you are. Every month, the machine demands to be fed, the mortgage on a house with 2 empty rooms, the lease on a vehicle that smells like high-end leather and unfulfilled promises, the automated subscriptions for gyms you do not visit, streaming services you watch with half-closed eyes, and organic grocery deliveries that rot quietly in the crisper drawer. You tell yourself you could cut back tomorrow. You tell yourself it would be easy. But as you stare at the screen in the dark, you realize a terrifying truth. You cannot stop, but here's what almost nobody notices. We look at 20-something adults who live with 3 roommates, cook dried beans in a tiny pot, and wear thrifted coats like a badge of honor, and we call them disciplined. We look at ourselves, trying to trim $50 from a weekend dinner bill, feeling a visceral, physical wave of shame, and we call ourselves weak. We think it is a flaw in our willpower. We think we grew soft, somewhere between our 25th and 45th birthdays. But that is only half of what's happening. The truth is much heavier. Frugality for a young person is a temporary detour on a road that is still being built. Frugality for a middle-aged consumer feels like an autopsy of their potential. Think back to when you were 22. If you slept on a mattress on the floor, it wasn't a tragedy, it was a narrative. It was the opening chapter of a story about a hungry, ambitious kid who was going to conquer the world. You could eat instant noodles for 5 days straight because the deprivation didn't mean you had failed. It meant you hadn't started yet. Your identity was entirely safely placed in the future. Whew. But somewhere along the way, the future arrived, and that's where the real story begins. When you reach 40 or 50, your possessions are no longer temporary placeholders. They are the evidence. They are the physical proof that the sacrifices you made in your 20s and 30s were worth it. The expensive watch, the premium neighborhood, the private lessons for your children, these are not just things you bought. They are the monuments you built to justify the late nights, the missed weekends, and the gray hairs. To pull down a monument is a very different psychological act than choosing not to build one in the first place. Then something shifts. And it's subtle, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You realize that your spending has become an armor. When a young person steps out of a battered car, the world assumes they are on their way up. When you step out of a battered car, you worry the world thinks you are on your way down. The market didn't take your choices. Your identity did. Let us look closely at a single, ordinary Saturday afternoon. You are standing in an aisle, looking at a pair of shoes or a piece of luggage, or perhaps a bottle of wine. There is a cheaper option right next to it. A significantly cheaper option. Your brain quickly calculates the difference, $40, maybe $60. You tell yourself you should take the cheaper one. It is the rational choice. But your hand hesitates in midair. A strange, heavy resistance rises in your chest. It feels almost like grief. If you buy the cheaper option, you aren't just saving $40. You are sending a message to your own subconscious. You are telling yourself that things are contracting, that you are no longer the person who can carelessly choose the best, that the golden era of your earning potential might have a ceiling, and you are starting to look at it. So you buy the more expensive one, not because you love it, not because it is twice as good, but because buying it lets you pretend, for one more afternoon, that the horizon is still expanding. The disturbing part? It isn't what you think. It isn't about greed. Greed is active, hungry, and aggressive. This is defensive. This is the frantic maintenance of a baseline. Psychologists call it lifestyle creep, but that phrase is too sterile. It doesn't capture the terror of the slide. It doesn't describe the invisible net woven from years of tiny concessions until you are trapped in a museum of your own expectations. Consider the social tax of middle age. When you are 24, Your friends gather around a cheap wooden table at a local pub. Someone buys a pitcher of light beer. The bill is split evenly down to the exact penny, or someone shortchanges the tip, and everyone laughs. No one feels diminished. Now, fast forward 25 years, the dinner invitation arrives via text message. It is a new restaurant, the kind where the menu doesn't include dollar signs, just numbers. You know, before you even start the car, that this dinner will cost $300. You do not want to spend $300 on a meal that will leave you feeling slightly bloated and tired. But you go. You sit at the long table under the dim, designer lighting. You laugh at jokes that aren't particularly funny. You pass the heavy platters of food. And when the bill arrives, someone casually throws down a platinum card and says, "Let us just split it." You reach into your wallet. Your hand is steady, your expression is completely blank, but inside, your nervous system is screaming. Why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you say, "I am trying to be more careful with my budget this month"? Because in middle age, financial vulnerability is contagious. If you admit you cannot afford the dinner, you break the unspoken contract of your social circle. You force everyone else at the table to look at their own fragile architecture. You risk seeing pity in their eyes. And pity is a currency that no one at 45 knows how to spend. We don't hold on to luxury because it gives us pleasure. We hold on because letting go would mean admitting we are tired of running the race. Let us descend a layer deeper. Think about your children, if you have them, or the young people in your life. You want to give them the world you never had, or perhaps the world you worked so hard to secure. You sign them up for the travel sports teams, the elite summer camps, the music tutors who charge $80 an hour. You tell yourself you are investing in their future. But look at your hands when you write those checks. Look at the tension in your shoulders. Are you buying those things for them, or are you buying them to protect them from the reality of your own exhaustion? Younger generations look at this and find it baffling. They see our big houses and our heavy obligations as a choice. They write articles about how easy it is to downsize, to minimalist your life, to live out of a single backpack. They do not understand that their backpack hasn't been filled yet. They haven't had to look into the eyes of a teenager and explain that the lifestyle they grew up with was an illusion funded by stress and overwork. They haven't had to tell a spouse that the dream you both agreed to build has become too heavy to carry. You see, a 20-year-old counts what they save. A 50-year-old counts what they have lost. When you are young, every dollar saved is a brick for the future. When you are older, every dollar cut feels like a confession of retreat. It feels like an admission that you didn't win the game, you just managed to survive it. And that admission is too bitter for most of us to swallow, especially at 3 in the morning when the house is dark. Let us look at the physical environment you have created. Walk through your living room in your mind. Look at the items on the shelves. The high-end espresso machine that requires a complex cleaning ritual every week, the heavy wool rugs that must be professionally treated, the landscaping outside that costs $400 a month just to keep the grass from turning brown under the summer sun. These things are no longer your possessions. They are your employers. You go to work every morning to earn the money required to pay the things you already own, so they do not degrade and reveal that you are losing your grip. It is a strange kind of captivity. You are the warden, the inmate, and the benefactor all at once. You built the prison out of premium materials. You lined the walls with heavy insulation so no one could hear you sigh. And then you handed yourself the bill for the construction. But then something changes. A moment arrives that breaks the trance. It usually doesn't happen during a massive financial crisis. It happens in a tiny, insignificant moment. You are cleaning out a drawer or looking at an old photograph from 20 years ago. You see your younger self. You are wearing a faded t-shirt. You are sitting on a cheap, secondhand sofa that you found on the curb. Your hair is messy, and your kitchen has laminate countertops that are peeling at the edges. But look at your eyes in that photograph. There is a lightness there that you haven't seen in a mirror for a decade. You look at that kid, and you realize something that turns your entire understanding of your life 90 degrees. You thought you were working 60 hours a week to give that kid everything they ever wanted. But the truth is, that kid was richer than you will ever be. That kid had the one thing that your premium subscription lifestyle has systematically stripped away from you. They had room to move. They had the freedom to fail without the entire structure collapsing. The house, the car, the expensive dinners, they were never the prize. They were the weight. We don't buy things because we are greedy. We buy things because we are terrified that if we stop, we will have to sit in the quiet room and ask ourselves who we are without the props. We are using our capital to buy a buffer between our souls and the reality of time passing. We think that if we can keep buying the lifestyle of a successful, thriving adult, we can keep the shadows at bay. The market didn't trap you. Your pride did. But pride is an incredibly expensive thing to maintain when the interest rates are rising and your energy is winding down. You think that adopting frugal habits means stepping down into poverty. You think it means becoming small. But that is the lie the identity tells you to protect its own survival. Let us reframe the entire problem. Frugality in the second half of life isn't a demotion. It is an eviction notice served to your ghosts. Imagine walking into that bank app at 3 in the morning, not with panic, but with a strange, cold clarity. Imagine looking at the automated payments and clicking delete, one by one, not because you can't pay them, but because you choose not to let them own your attention anymore. Imagine the exquisite relief of letting the luxury vehicle go and driving something ordinary, something quiet, something that doesn't care if it gets a scratch in the supermarket parking lot. Imagine looking at your peers at that expensive restaurant, leaning back in your chair and saying with a calm, easy smile, "I think I will just have the appetizer tonight." Think of the silence that would follow that statement. It wouldn't be a silence of judgment. It would be a silence of envy. Because every single person at that table is just as tired as you are. Every single one of them is looking at their phone in the dark, wondering how they got caught in the same beautiful, suffocating web. They are all waiting for someone to be brave enough to stop running. They are waiting for someone to show them that you can step off the treadmill and not disappear into nothingness. You are not protecting the investment anymore. You are protecting the remaining years of your life. Every dollar you cut from the performance is an hour of your life you buy back from the machine. It is in morning you get to wake up without the invisible hand of debt pressing down on your chest. It is an afternoon you can spend watching the clouds change shape, instead of staring at a spreadsheet wondering how to cover the cost of a life you don't even have time to live. The younger generation didn't figure this out because they are wiser than you. They figured it out because they had no choice. The world broke their expectations before they could build the prison. But you have a much harder, much more beautiful task. You have to open the door of the prison from the inside, using the keys you paid for with your own youth. Let us put the phone down now. The kitchen is still dark. The marble counter is still cold, but the weight in your stomach has started to shift. It is no longer the heavy, dead weight of anxiety. It is the sharp, electric coldness of a decision being born. You are going to have to downsize. You are going to have to look at some people who expect you to be big and allow yourself to look small. It will hurt. Your ego will scream for weeks, but the air will be clearer. The sleep will be deeper. You don't need to hold on to the story of who you were supposed to become. That story has served its purpose, and it is finished. It is time to let the curtain fall on the performance, to turn off the expensive spotlights, and to step out into the quiet, unscripted night. You aren't losing your status. You are finally finding your freedom.